There we go. Okay, now, good morning, everyone. And thanks so much for having me out this morning to share a little bit more about tourism, our history of tourism in Destination Madison, and where we are headed the next few years. So I hope if there's one thing you take away from our time together this morning, I hope it's the impact that our work has on everyone who visits, works, and lives in Greater Madison. Understanding the impact of what we do starts with understanding our name. Destination Madison is a DMO that stands for Destination Management Organization. There are 400 DMOs across the United States just like ours. They're called all sorts of things from Visit Anchorage to Choose Chicago to Florida's Space Coast. The work we do attracts visitors who enjoy our entertainment offerings. They eat, they shop, they meet, they stay overnight. You usually can't tell who they are when you're biking around the lake or shopping on State Street or putting gas in your car. And that's why tourism sometimes is referred to as the invisible industry. But those same visitors make an undeniable impact because when they return home, they leave their dollars behind. And we really do try to empty out all their pockets before they leave. And it really fuels our economy and our growth. So consider these facts. In 2022, 8.8 million people visited Madison and Dane County. Put another way, that equated to $1.4 billion in direct visitor spending. So I want to make sure I'm in line with my slides here. But let's put that another way. For every dollar we invested in groups, meaning conventions, sports, and events, we drove $24 in visitor spend into our community. And for every dollar we invested in leisure marketing, we drove $22 in visitor spend. But we certainly didn't build that visitor impact overnight. So how did we get to where we are today? 51 years ago, we started as Greater Madison Convention and Visitors Bureau when we received our first funding from the city of Madison. In 1983, we launched the Taste of Madison and then Madison Marathon in 1994, both of which have become Madison institutions under the leadership of Madison Festivals, Inc. Then in 1997, when Monona Terrace opened, followed by the addition of the New Holland Pavilions and the Expo Hall expansion at Alliant Energy Center, the game changed. We knew we can make an even bigger impact bringing national and international conventions and events here, and we have, and we continue to do so. Events such as Ironman, the CrossFit Games, Epic XGM and UGM, WIA state tournaments, Wisconsin Cheesemakers Association, World Dairy Expo, Under 18 Women's Hockey World Championships, and USA Climbing National Championships. That's just to name a few. The list really goes on and on. And while we're always working on drawing visitors from afar across the country, we will never forget about the local community that makes Madison so memorable. In 2018, we brought 85 Bucky statues to the streets of Dane County on parade, an incredible intersection of visitor and local pride that raised more than $1 million for local charities. Bucky on Parade is just one of the many ways we partner with UW-Madison, which also celebrated a milestone anniversary last year, 175 years. And we're proud of the strength and impact our collaboration continues to bring to our city. In 2019, we branded to Destination Madison, and it wasn't just because Greater Madison Convention and Visitors Bureau is a mouthful, right? It wasn't just to shorten it, but because it has more impact. It reflects our holistic approach to attracting both leisure travelers and conventions, sports, and events. And today, we share Madison's diverse stories far and wide, from international meeting planners to road trippers to locals who host out-of-town visitors and friends. In 2023, we piloted a new program to attract visitors from two of our direct flight markets, Denver and New York City. It was such a success, we've expanded that this year to 6 of our direct flight markets. But we do all that by making connections. For starters, we partner with more than 870 businesses that bring Madison's vibe and hardworking hospitality philosophy to life. So visitors have choices of where to stay, whether they favor proximity, luxury, or sustainability. Our restaurants, the sheer volume is impressive, but it's what's happening behind the scenes that's helping us win the food scene. The mashup of our ag heritage and renowned culinary culture means visitors always find something amazing on our menus. And there's so much more to explore, from Broadway to bakeries and galleries to distilleries. Together, we create the locally owned sustainable quality of life that visitors and residents alike love about Madison. A good percentage of our partners are sole business owners or have a small staff, so we serve as their voice and their marketing arm too. I think Hannah John Taylor said it well about our partnership with Cafe Coda. That's up on the screen. Another way we create connections is through advocacy, representing the hospitality community and the voice of the visitor in support of our community projects. A couple of highlights from 2023 include we supported the new wing at Dane County Regional Airport. More flights mean we can serve more visitors, so adding 3 new gates and new direct flights, most recently to LAX, makes it easier to bring business and leisure visitors here. Or the Lake Monona Waterfront Design Challenge, which potentially expands Monona Terrace and its meeting capacity, plus all the things visitors and residents will be able to do around the lake too. Today, I've shared the impact and local spin of tourism over the past couple of years, and the word is out. Madison is making media headlines and topping top 10 lists in too many categories to count. Madison's media coverage in 2023 added up to $3.2 million in earned media value from some great top-tier media, such as the Washington Post, Travel and Leisure, Esquire, and Variety. In 2023, we hosted Samantha Brown's Places to Love on PBS. From that episode alone, we earned 1.5 million views from 520 airings in the United States. And Jason stole my thunder a little bit, but last night Top Share aired. I didn't get to see it because I was on a flight on my way back from DC, but that was a 3-year journey in partnership with Travel Wisconsin. When Top Chef announced that their 21st season would be filming in Wisconsin, the media exposure was tremendous, just on the announcement alone. I cannot wait to see what this season produces for Wisconsin as a whole. So I am so excited about this. Last night, as I landed at 11 and I got home, and I'm getting texts from the West Coast going, Wisconsin's on Top Chef. How did that happen? And that's the question we got a lot in DC over and over. How did that happen? We don't think Wisconsin in food. We don't think Madison in food. This is a huge opportunity for our community to bring in visitors that never thought they would want to come to Wisconsin. They never thought we had a good dining scene. So as you can see, I'm a little excited about it. I haven't watched the episode yet. I'm sure it's great. But as Jason mentioned and kind of hinted around, keep your eye out because there are a couple episodes that are based solely in Madison, and we're excited about that. Our work to bring leisure and business and sports visitors here, our advocacy for important initiatives from the airport to Amtrak, and our work to make sure Madison is featured in top-tier media are just a few ways we keep moving forward. We achieved our 2023 goal of 1.6. I'm sorry, that is not correct. We achieved our goal for 2023 is $1.6 billion in visitor spend. We won't get those numbers until June. So everything points that we're on the right path on that, but we're really hoping that we are. We're now targeting $1.8 billion for 2024 through these key pillars of our strategic plan: brand awareness and visitor conversion, direct room nights from conventions, sports, and events, community partnerships and advocacy, and driving regional development. A big part of our community value is promoting diversity. At Destination Madison, it's not a checkbox. It's truly in our DNA. We make sure to invite diverse groups to host their meetings here. We represent diverse visitors in our marketing and advertising, and we ensure that our partnership represents diverse ownership. In 2023, we hosted a Hospitable Me's Everyone Welcome program and invited our partners to learn how to attract and welcome LGBTQ travelers. And those are just a few of the ways we're working toward making sure that our vision for making Madison a place where all visitors are welcome comes to fruition. So our next ambitious goal is to reach $2 billion in visitor spending by the end of 2025. When we do that, that will be a 43% increase over pre-pandemic spending. One of the reasons we've set our sights so high is that we are all in on a DMO concept called Community Shared Value, where we take a leadership role as developers of our destination. We want to make sure we are at the table for conversations like, Do we need to expand our facilities or add new venues? Should we advocate for Amtrak or work to secure more direct flights to Madison? As quality of place stewards, we accept the responsibility of making Madison a place people want to live and visit, not just trying to put heads in beds. So we're much more integrated in city and county conversations than you might expect. These will be incredible accomplishments for our local community, but there's more behind the scenes work I wanted to shine a spotlight on that's directly supporting our community. Through the Destination Madison Foundation and throughout the last 10 years, our Madison Area Sports Commission Youth Grant Program awarded more than $450,000 to over 200 organizations that serve underrepresented youth. We are incredibly proud of efforts to connect children to sports activities that inspire healthy lifestyles. So I don't know about you, but we all thought that was a cause for celebration, and celebrate we did. At our 50th anniversary party last year at the Sylvie. It was really fun, as you can see. We went totally blank on that one. Let me just hit that little play button right there. It was a night that honored the entire community for everything they do to help us keep Madison at the top of the first and the best lists again and again. We brought back our Destination Madison Awards to honor everyone from up-and-coming chefs to small business owners to the best housekeeping heroes behind the scenes that make our city so special. 100% of the proceeds from this event went to the Destination Madison Foundation, fueling events and destination development for years to come. So before I wrap up, I want to give a big shout out to our esteemed and engaged board of directors. As a 501c3 organization, we report to this 29-member board of experienced community members whose guidance is invaluable as we keep moving our destination forward. And last but certainly not least, I want to thank the team at Destination Madison. We are representing Madison on a national stage through many boards and organizations. Every day, we are brand champions, finance wizards, destination builders, and hardworking salespeople who will attend more than 40 trade shows this year to promote Madison as a meetings and sports destination. None of the success that I've been talking about today would be possible without this team's passion and persistence. And now, for anyone who's heard me speak before, you know I always end with an ask. And I'm sure that my speech teacher would say that's not appropriate, but hey, I got the stage, right? So my ask of you, bring your meeting home. This is a really simple concept. If you go to your industry's annual meeting or regional event, talk to them about bringing that event here in Madison. We are so happy to help support you and be your partner to do that. Join us on our socials. You'll learn, you will laugh, you will stay connected. We have 870 partners, and there's always room for more if you have a referral. And this is my big one. So in May of this year, early May, we are going to release a resident sentiment survey. We want to hear from our community how they feel about the perception and tourism impact that's happening day in, day out. I feel confident that the hospitality industry will complete this survey because they're very good about that. But that's not all we want to hear from. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from people outside our industry to really tell us what they think about tourism. But that's not even my ask, to have you fill it out. My ask is that you share it with your employees, you share it with your networks, because we want a wide range of responses to this survey. So you'll see that in May, and I'll ask Jason if he'll send that out through his membership too. So thank you for your time today. I appreciate the chance to share more about how we're making Madison a place people want to visit again and again. Thank you.
We do have time for questions, but I just want to amplify a couple of things about how important the relationship between Downtown Madison Inc. and Destination Madison is. We're both, admittedly, we're 1 year older than you. We are 51 years old. You're welcome. So we're older. Yes. We're 51. Yes. 1972, Jamie. That is correct. Jamie is questioning my math. John knows. He's worked for the organization the entire time. Right, John? But you're only 32 years old. These two organizations, we work very closely together. In fact, we're working on some projects now that'll make us even closer together. And to understand the importance, just take the $1.4 billion number of economic spending. Usually just under a quarter of that, so about 300 million, is just in the downtown, right? That is about 4,500 jobs just in the downtown. That's how important this is. And if we can get to the audacious goal that Ellie wants and her team is building towards at $2 billion, you do the math, right? That's over $400 million in economic spending. That's a lot of jobs. That's a lot of Chicago's people money leaving Chicago and coming here.
That's right.
Yes,
And emptying their pockets.
absolutely. So we do have a few minutes for questions here. Susan, question.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it will be a question. I will not. Oh, no, no. Ellie, hi. Oh, it's so good to have you here and to see all of this. Thank you for all that you've done. I have a question about the arts culture and how important that is to what you do. And because you gave some challenges too in terms of what we need to do as a city. And I know there's always a lot of talk about getting more money into the arts culture here in the Madison area. So could you talk about that a little bit, please?
I can, absolutely. And I'm looking at Kate, who is our EVP of brand strategy and communications, because the past couple of years, our marketing's been based on persona marketing. If you know marketing, it's like, it's kind of demographic, driven. So, this age group's going to come and do this. But the reality is that's not how people are traveling any longer, right? Because you could go somewhere, you could go to a concert and you could see everybody there from an 18-year-old to a 70-year-old. So it's like, what's the mindset of that visitor? Why are they doing what they're doing? So Kate just did a webinar yesterday for us with our partners where we're actually kind of morphing from persona to mindset driven. And the reason I mention all that, Susan, is because one of those are arts and culture seekers. And it's really important. We love people that want to come in and learn more about that and really understand and engage in our local culture of what we get to do what we get to live every single day. But the beautiful thing about those visitors is that they will usually stay longer and they will usually spend more money in our community. So I know that you think that all I want is people's money in our community, and I do.
Yes.
I want every dollar, but Kate's looking at me like, that's not correct. That's correct. Is that good? Okay, we're good. Because I didn't get to be on the webinar yesterday. So that is a very important part of what we do. And I see our friends from Overture are here, and we work really closely with all those partners because we want to make sure that when we get them here, they do experience all these great different things that we have in our community. Like, as you know, as I'm so excited about the new historical center that's getting built. Yes. So thank you.
More questions for Ellie. This is a huge room, so I hope it's all the way over there. That'd be really fun for me and you all.
Get your exercise.
More questions for Ellie. All right, quick. Before I get to Ben, I'll ask a question while I get to Ben. We do know some information about what's happening in Top Chef based on their ad. So what can you tell us what we might see? She signed a very, very long NDA.
Don't tell anybody. Okay, right? It's like cone of silence over this room. Here's what I will tell you. If you have not read the Cap Times article about Top Chef, do that, because they did not sign a DNA like I did. So there's a lot we can't tell. But what I can tell you, because I feel like I can, and I'm looking at Kate to see
You're
if she's
welcome for
gonna
this
shoot
pretty awkward
dagger.
question.
They filmed around Farmers Market. And if you were at Farmers Market this morning, that morning, you did get to see them running around because they had cameras, following the contestants. They did film at Monona Terrace, and you'll see some of that as well in April, mid-April, let's say. I can just see the Bravo people coming through the door to arrest me. Like, do you get arrested for telling secrets you're not supposed to tell? But it's going to be fun, and it's going to be exciting, and it's going to put our city in a whole new light. And, we have over 40 James Beard Award winners here. And I'm so excited that dining scene and our dining culture and the work that these incredible chefs have been doing that we've all enjoyed, Friday night for dinner or wherever that is going to get lifted up into that national stage. So is there anything else I'm allowed to tell?
I mean, I read the article, so I'll just say that there was shooting at a prominent downtown location and on the square, and at a very prominent, let's say, newer restaurant on West
Yeah,
Washington
on
Avenue.
West Washington,
well,
maybe by a
yes.
bike store, for
Yes,
instance.
maybe.
Maybe. Just
All right, I'll
put those
save you
together.
from getting in trouble with the lawyers. Ben, what's your question? Speaking, you're a lawyer.
I've been,
No, we're not having that argument again. Ellie, thank you. I had a couple of thoughts. One, in the video, I noticed right at the end a shot of Deb Archer, who led the organization for so long, and those who have been in the community know all the work she did. I think we were all a little nervous when she retired, who would come in to fill her shoes. And I just like to say on behalf of everybody, thank you for your work and doing that. I think
oh, thank you.
you've helped raise the profile of Madison even farther. On that note, to the extent that Top Chef wasn't necessarily on people's radars, what other sort of opportunities are out there or things that maybe aren't on everybody's radars, but maybe sell well or present opportunities for Madison going forward?
Yeah, very good question, because this is what our team is doing day in and day out. We were not pleased when CrossFit picked up and left us, especially because they had promised us another year and then they left. I can tell you, Jamie, who's our EVP of Sales and Sports Strategy, they're working day in and day out to bring in those big events that also media exposure. So we hopefully will have a couple of announcements here in the next few months, Jamie? Tomorrow? No, next few months? I've been out of the office for 2 days. Who knew what happened, right? And then as far as shows are concerned, you know, that's just, Top Chef is the tip of the iceberg for us. And we are working closely with Travel Wisconsin and with Milwaukee to say what else is out there. We have such a unique opportunity these next couple of years for the state of Wisconsin, because Top Chef's airing now. The RNC is in Milwaukee in July. That's going to get us national exposure. And then we're hosting the NFL entry draft. I mean, the conversations, I was on Capitol Hill yesterday in DC, the conversations were so different than any other year I've been there, because all of a sudden people are just looking at Wisconsin and saying, what are you guys doing? And every time that happens, we're at the table going, hey, over here, we're going to bring stuff to Madison. We want Madison to be the highlight. We want us to be the feature. So it is a consistent and ongoing conversation in our office. Yeah, thanks for asking.
We got two more last questions. One question, you mentioned it as well, is the importance of the airport. How important is direct air service in the airport to the tourism community and just the overall vibrancy and economic strength of the region?
From a meetings and conventions perspective, it's always in the top 2 reasons of why we don't get chosen, because we don't have enough direct flights. We have 16. And somebody on Jamie's team recently just did some very unofficial research. And they called some of our competitors like Des Moines and some others at Omaha. They have 30, 35. We have 16. This is what we're going up against. So having the airport completely reconstructed where it's just a straight line now, where we can bring in more planes and bigger planes, is a huge important thing for us. And Jason and Zach Brandon and myself, we actually are going with the airport now to do airline meetings. And I got to bring, I've got hot off like new information about that, Jason, because I met with the American Airlines rep while I was in DC. And it's super important, because what he told me was, we know what the airport's going to come tell us because we have that research, right? That's our job. Like, we dig into that research. We don't know what's going on in the community. We don't dig into that. So we kind of invited ourselves along, and luckily the airport was very open to that, because we said, if you're going to sit at the table, you need to bring the community with you, because we can tell you about the 8.8 million visitors. We can tell you what the chamber is doing to bring new business here and what MadRep is doing. We can tell you about how we're trying to be one of the top 5 tech hubs in the United States. Those conversations were never around the table. So I ask of you as one, and I know that it's difficult and I know that it can be more expensive, but please fly out of Madison, because we need to keep our planes full and active. So airlines are looking at the same, gosh, we got to get more flights into Madison. And you know, when you get the call, just make sure you're supporting that, because it is a reason that we're losing business. I can tell you that for sure. And with Top Chef airing, you know, we're going to have somebody sitting in San Antonio going, what is this all about, Madison? I want to go check that out. We want them to get here easily. We learned through U.S. Travel Association that because of the hassles of flying, people are canceling 2 of their trips per year. That's $227 million a year in lost business for travel. So because of the hassles. So we want people to get here. We want them to have a great time getting here, and we want them then to experience this amazing city.
I should note, we have almost a quorum of the Dane County Regional Airport Commission here. Ellie is new to the commission. I'm chair of the commission. And then we have Supervisor Collins from Dane County who here is as well. And I should acknowledge, we also have State Senator Melissa Agard, who is here, who's been a champion for the airport for a very long time. This is important work. And we're very proud that Destination Madison, DMI, and the Chamber are now part of these meetings. I went to Seattle for Alaska Airlines, fingers crossed. You're going to Minneapolis for Sun Country. Zach went to United, Chicago for United as well. And so this is a new effort that we are undertaking. Last question before we let everyone go and enjoy downtown. Why is downtown Madison so important to tourism in Dane County and our region?
Yeah, that it's integral to the visitor. People know State Street, right? And so when our visitors come into town, they want to go to State Street. They're going to go to the Capitol. They're going to walk down State Street. They're going to go, to the campus. They're going to get some ice cream, or at least that's what I did last weekend when I had visitors in town. But really that experience of downtown Madison is so important because they get the vibe, they get the feel of what our city is doing, and not just State Street, but really the entire downtown. Because when you look at what's happening on East Washington and what's happening on West Washington and all the different veins out of downtown, we have a really cool walkable visitor experience, or bikeable. And so we want that visitor to come in, but they are going to hit downtown first before they go out and explore other areas. So the shops, the restaurants, and we had visitors in from Australia and New Zealand, and Kate and I were walking them around, and they said, "Where are all your chains?" And we said, "Well, you're not going to find them downtown, right? You will find them if that's what you like to do, because some visitors do like to do that, but you're going to find them a little bit further out. When you come downtown, you get a true, authentic experience of Madison and our culture here, and it's super important. So everybody who works to keep downtown healthy, thank you for the work that you're doing."
And let's thank Ellie Westman Chin for all you're doing for our community. Thank you all very much for joining us. We're very excited to see so many people back downtown. Please join us. We got a note. Next month, we're meeting on a different date. We're going to meet on Wednesday, not Thursday, April 24th. And you're going to want to join us because we have someone you all know well. Athletic Director Chris McIntosh from UW will be here talking about all things Badgers. And I think we can all agree on Wisconsin this Friday, right? Although why is it at 8:40 p.m.? That's past my bedtime. But let's go Badgers. All right. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for our sponsors, Carlson, Black, O'Callahan, and Battenberg. Thank you, Chad, very much. Our friends at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, JP Cullen, Lake Ridge Bank, Urban Land Interests, our friends at the Edgewater Hotel, and our monthly series sponsor, the group that is lighting downtown Madison, our friends at Sign Art Studios. Thank you all very much for joining us. We'll see you downtown. Have a great rest of your week and enjoy your weekends.